This is session number 15 in the Alcoholic Rehabilitation series. For this series, as with the others, let's begin by placing ourselves in as comfortable a position as possible. Move around in your chair, find a comfortable spot. Now, settling down, taking a deep breath. Take a real deep breath, let it out slowly, letting yourself relax, letting your whole body completely relax, just the way you've been practicing now for some time. Closing your eyes now, closing your eyes, drifting into a very pleasant, completely relaxed state. Now, picture this scene in your mind to help you relax even more completely, going even deeper into a state of complete relaxation. You're sitting on the front porch of a mountain cabin. You're in a rocking chair, rocking gently back and forth, looking out from the rocking chair across a green valley full of trees, a little meadow, a brook off about 100 feet from the cabin. Let yourself settle back into this rocking chair. Imagine yourself settling back into it. Every muscle in your body completely relaxed, going deeper and deeper into a completely relaxed state. Off to the right, you can hear the mountain stream gurgling and bubbling over the rocks. Very pleasant and completely relaxing scene. Sending your whole body deeper, deeper into a completely relaxed state. Every muscle in your body is completely relaxed. Think about the muscles in your body, your hands. Think about them as heavy, numb, relaxed. Your arms, relaxed. No tension whatsoever. Your breathing has now become very deep, regular. The kind of breathing you do just before you fall asleep. You're so completely relaxed. Your legs are relaxed. Imagine yourself taking a deep breath, and as you do, the odor and smell of the pine trees enters your nostrils, refreshing you, relaxing you. It's a delicious forest smell. It's great to be there, relaxing completely. This type of scene, this type of practice in relaxation may aid you later you can just completely relax your whole body in various situations where you're under pressure. Just picture yourself so completely relaxed your whole body's limp. Now we're going to have our first scene. Now that you're completely relaxed and your mind is open and you're able to follow the scene in every detail. Let's say you've been back at work for a few days and things have been going pretty well. You felt pretty uncomfortable for a few days there over the last time you drank. Made your whole body pretty upset. But now you're working, got your tools pretty well organized, and you're in charge of the place right now. And just then, here comes this fellow that you've known for some time. He's the guy that's always going to help you. He's always giving you some good advice. He's really kind of obnoxious. You really can't stand him. But you don't like to hurt people's feelings, so you've never told them about these feelings you have. Because, after all, as he himself has said many times, I'm only trying to help, he says. And so you think, well, he's just trying to help. But you shudder when you see him coming. And first thing he does is put his hand on your shoulder. You can't stand that. The guy is obnoxious, pushy, demanding. He comes in and borrows tools all the time. He's got some relative working there and thinks that he can just have the run of the place. That annoys you, but you've never said anything about that either, because you don't want to hurt his feelings. So then he starts in. He says, oh, I'm glad to see you back. And then he starts in even more seriously. You know, I just want to give you some advice. I'm really worried about you. And you've got to get a hold of yourself. You've got to get a hold of yourself, and you've got to quit this drinking. You're just ruining yourself. You're just ruining yourself. You're tearing up your whole body. You can hear it just as though you're there, this guy talking to you, pushy, aggressive. If you say, I've got some work to do, he just ignores it. He just goes right on. He says, look, for your own good, I want you to just leave the bottle alone. Just keep away from that drinking. That booze is going to kill you. It's going to ruin your liver. It's going to ruin your heart. I've seen pickled brains. I've seen these people get, you can die from that. They die in the jails every day. Somebody's dying in jail. You can hardly stand this guy pushing at you, pressuring you, giving you the same old lecture, the same old crap. So you try to say something about, you've got your work to do. He says, he just keeps going, he ignores you, he just pushes right over you. He says, look, you know, I told you a long time ago about that woman, and you know, she's causing you to drink. She's the one that is pushing you into this, and if she wasn't so demanding, if she wasn't so horrible a person, you wouldn't have to drink. You ought to just leave her alone. You ought to get her out of your life. And now you're really, really infuriated listening to this joker tell you how to lead your life. But you still hold back. You don't want to hurt his feelings. Even though he's tromping all over your feelings, you don't want to hurt his feelings. For some reason, he's acting like he's helping you. But now, you're really mad. And you just walk right out of the place. You're just walking right out. He hasn't listened to anything you said. You walk right out the door. He even follows you out, and he says, now remember what I told you. Remember what I told you. This is important. I know. I've seen this before. If you don't quit the drinking, you're going to end up in jail or behind bars or sick or dead or one or the other. And you're just listening to this, walking away from him, standing back there still lecturing after you, walking furious at this fellow, very angry. You haven't said anything at all to him. You're heading right for the liquor store. You're determined with that much pressure on you that you've got to have a drink. You're watching yourself going into the store, and you're buying 3 or 4 bottles, as much as you can carry. And getting home as soon as you can. Now you're undoing the bottle, still furious, just boiling over that fellow. You're going to show him. And you take a drink. You see it on the table, poured, lifting it up to your lips. You're drinking it down. And the scene changes. You're still in the same room, but it's much later. And you're lying on the floor. Picture yourself lying on the floor, lying in broken glass. You drank and drank until it was all gone. You fell over, landed on one of the empty bottles. There's blood on the floor next to you. You don't even know if it's yours. You guess it is, but you don't feel anything. You don't feel any cuts anywhere. You've numbed yourself. You just look at the blood, a little shocked. And then your stomach starts getting upset. The food that you had eaten earlier seems to have turned stale and sour in your stomach, and it wants out. It's pushing out, pushing its way up your throat, pushing out your throat. You can hardly breathe. Some of it's gone through your nostrils, burning your nostrils, spilling out onto your neck, onto your shirt. The smell is horrible. Your body twists with the pain. Your stomach is jerking. Your whole body is jerking and shaking as you vomit out everything in your guts. And as you twist on the floor, the glass grinds deeper into you, cutting you more, the empty booze glasses. It's horrible. Feel worse than you ever have. Now, take a deep breath. Let yourself relax again. Going back into a state of complete relaxation. Becoming more and more relaxed. More and more relaxed. The scenes fading in your mind. Feeling better now, feeling completely relaxed. Now we're going to play that last scene over again. This time with a different ending. Imagine yourself at work. Been back 2 or 3 days. And who should come in but the fellow that thinks that he owns the place. He's got somebody that works there also. He borrows the tools. This fellow is pushy, demanding, full of lectures, full of wanting to tell you how to run your own life. You can't stand the sight of him, but up to now, you've always held back because you don't want to hurt his feelings, or you didn't want to hurt his feelings. So he comes in and he says, "Oh, I'm really glad to see you back." You say, "Well, I'm glad to be back." And he can hardly wait to start in. He says, "Look, you know, one of these times that booze is going to get you and get you completely if you don't find a way to really knock it off. If you don't quit hitting that booze up, you know where you're going to end up." And so you look up at him and say, "Well, I appreciate your advice, but I guess this is something I gotta handle." Before you can even finish, he jumps in with some more. "Look, I know that you've got a lot of troubles, and I can help you out of these. You know, what we need to do is you really need to get away from that woman. I told you before that you should have gotten rid of her, and you should have." And he looks like he's just going to go on, just like he usually does, with you getting madder and madder, but doing nothing and saying nothing. So this time you say, "Look, will you shut up a minute? I got something I want to tell you." He looks at you a little shocked and surprised. You tell him, "I guess I just don't need a lecture from you today." And so he says, "Look, I'm only trying to help. I don't know why you have to get sore at me." And then you start thinking about this guy. What does he really want? What does he really want coming in here like this? Because when he gives you a lecture about drinking, your first impulse is to run off and get a drink. It's just natural. Then you start thinking, here's a guy that has 3 daughters. All of them hate his guts. They're all in trouble. One's in the state hospital, one's in prison, one's had 3 illegitimate children, and he goes around giving people lectures about how to live their lives. And then it occurs to you what he really wants. He's separated from his own wife. Long time ago, he couldn't get along. Separated from his second wife, he couldn't get along. He can't stand to see you be successful. You've been back successful just a few days, and that is bugging him. He wants to see you fail. And so in his own way, giving you all this good advice, he knows at some level or other that you're going to react to it, get mad, and go out and get drunk. He's disguised this, his desire to see you fail. He's disguised it under the, I just want to help you, buddy. But it's full of hate. Now that you know what he wants, you don't feel like you need to hold out. Usually you have to wait until you're drunk to tell somebody what you think, but this time you're stone cold sober and you're telling this guy, look, I've told you once, I told you twice, and now I'm telling you again, I don't want your help. I want you to get off my back. I don't want your lectures. And I mean it. And I don't care if you think I am getting upset about it. I'm just tired of hearing all this lecture crap from you. And then you think, should I tell him? He's so busy giving you advice. You figure, what the hell, if I lose this guy as a friend, I really haven't lost anything. So you really let him have it. You say, if you're so good at leading people's lives, how come you've got 3 daughters that just haven't turned out very good? You feel, oh, that's a low blow. In fact, he gets really mad about that. He says, how dare you talk to me like that? I feel like smashing your face in for that kind of ugly talk. And you say, look, I tried to tell you over and over to get off my back. You just didn't get the message. I don't see any reason why we can't be friends, but I certainly do not intend to have you give me those lectures and have you try to run my life anymore. And right now, before either of us get in trouble neither of us wants, I suggest that you leave. I'm in charge of this shop, and right now I want you out of here. You can dish it out, but you just can't seem to take it. And you've made it pretty final, pretty definite. There's nothing he can do but leave, because he knows you're in charge. And he knows by the tone of your voice that if he hadn't left, you would have called somebody else, called the police to get him off the premises if necessary. There's no reason for you to feel like you needed to throw him off yourself, because he's the kind of guy that looks for trouble and would have really liked that kind of thing. So he's gone. You got rid of him, and you told him something that hurt his feelings, and you're feeling really good about it. You enjoyed hurting his feelings, because he's tromped all over your feelings 1,000 times, and you never did anything about it, except when you were drunk, you used to get furious and angry at him and sit there and think how you'd like to kill him. But you never did, because he wasn't there then. It's easy to be brave when you're drinking, but this time you were brave, stone sober. And it's making you feel right now proud of yourself and better than you felt for a long time. You're really glad the way you handled that situation. You're glad you were able to get this fellow off your back. Talking about hurting his feelings, he's the kind of guy that doesn't really have many feelings. You go back to work instead of out to the store, feeling better than you have for quite a while. Feeling better all the time. Imagine yourself, you're going through the day, going further through the day, feeling better and better, more and more proud of yourself. The funny thing about having told that guy off is he probably never realized before how obnoxious he was acting toward you. He just got into the pattern. You told him off, you felt good, and the next time you see him, he's going to apologize, because he's the one that got pushy. All you did was tell him to get off your back. But to your surprise, he's going to realize that he was wrong. And why will he realize? Because you finally told him that he was wrong. And you still feel just a little tense from the exchange you had with him. But you're really glad that you did what you did instead of running off to the bar or the liquor store without having done what you really needed to do to that fellow. Now let yourself relax again. Completely relax. And one thing that you might have had trouble with while you were giving yourself a compliment for having handled that situation so well. You may not have believed yourself. Quite often people who have a drinking problem find themselves reacting to criticism very strongly. The alcoholic is often a very bright individual, very sensitive very often to his world and the people in it. He may get hurt by some small comment that others would just pass by because he's so sensitive, so tuned in to other people. We've practiced remaining relaxed while imagining getting a hard time from somebody. And while there's this extreme sensitivity to punishment and criticism, there's also a sensitivity to praise. When he praises himself or when he is praised by somebody else, the alcoholic often thinks he didn't deserve it. He doesn't believe what he said about himself that was good or what anybody else said about him. He sometimes gets downright uncomfortable if somebody gives him a compliment. When sober, the man who drinks often says what he thinks other people wants to hear. He's easygoing. When he drinks, he takes issues with the things he should have objected to when sober, only he carries it too far a lot of times. And it doesn't do much good to fight on an issue when you're drinking. Practicing being hard-nosed and making objections when sober is important. One reason the alcoholic has trouble accepting praise is because he himself says what he thinks people want to hear, maybe not believing it himself. If he's someplace and says he's getting treatment and he says, "No, I know why I drink. I'm not going to drink anymore," he may get out sooner from the program. So when people praise him, he often thinks they too are just saying it to be nice, to get along, to win him over, or something like that. Almost if people say something nice, they want something from you. That isn't necessarily the case. They may be giving you a well-deserved compliment. This next section, we're going to practice receiving praise and compliments. But first, relax yourself completely. This may be a session where you'll need to be as relaxed as possible. Think about your hands, letting them relax completely, becoming numb. Your arms relaxed, your neck relaxed, let your chest relax, just sag, completely relaxed. Stomach, completely relaxed, completely relaxed. Now your legs, your whole body now, completely relaxed. Imagine yourself at work. You're in this situation at work. All the details. There's your tools you usually work with, laid out before you. You begin doing your job. It seems no matter who's pleased with your work, you often never can be quite pleased yourself. But now you're seeing yourself working in your mind, all the details. Go ahead and picture that scene. The boss now is standing by. He's just showed up suddenly. You notice him out of the corner of your eye. He seems to be lurking around the job. You're still relaxed, though. You're completely relaxed, even though the boss has showed up. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to relax even more. Even so, you're going to experience a completely relaxed state. This time, all the thoughts you usually experience when the boss is around. You're thinking to yourself, uh-oh, here it comes. He's going to tell me I've done a lousy job. He's going to criticize me, make fun of me, tell me they can get a man on this job who will really work if I won't put out. But you keep working away. And in spite of these thoughts, these worries about the boss standing there, you're completely relaxed still. He's walking closer to you now. You see him walking closer. He's standing in front of you. He speaks your name. Listen, you can hear him. He says, I've been meaning to tell you something, he says. And you think, uh-oh, here it comes. But he goes on, because of the hard work you've done here, we're way ahead of schedule on this job. You've really been putting out high-quality work. You've done a lot of creative thinking on this job, and we're real pleased with it. And then he walks away. You're left stunned, completely dumbfounded, mixed feelings. You don't know what to think or say. And usually when this happens, you think you should feel good, but instead you become nervous. You're thinking about what usually happens, how you become frightened at that type of thing, someone telling you you did a fine job. But now you're still having these same thoughts you usually have, but you're relaxed. You're relaxed. Thinking through the usual thoughts when somebody compliments you, but not letting them bother you. You're thinking, I'd rather be chewed out than have them lie to me like this, those cheats. I know they don't really think that. Why did he tell me that? I haven't been doing that good a job. I could do better. I know. I just don't have it in me. If people only knew, they'd just fire me, beat me up, and let me have it, get it over with. If he can't see what kind of job I've really done here, then he just isn't very bright. He's buttering me up to tell me they don't need me anymore. These thoughts are bothering you, but you're still calm this time. Still calm, watching the thoughts march through your head. This time, one by one, instead of just piling up on top of each other, ending up with you being angry, confused, and then with a drink to get over the confusion. You're watching your own reaction this time, the reaction you've often had when somebody paid you a compliment, your disbelief when you heard the compliment. About the compliment could be about your work, your looks, your way of treating other people, any compliment. You never could quite believe it very easily. But now you're still relaxed, even though more thoughts go through your head. Take a deep breath. Let yourself go deeper into a state of complete relaxation. And now you're still thinking about the boss, thinking what you would have liked to have said to him after he complimented you. Why would you want to even think these things or say them? But you were thinking, you son of a bitch, if you think that's good work, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. If you knew any better, you'd chew me out. And for some reason, his compliment has brought anger out in you. Or it usually did. This time you're relaxed, but still recognizing that a compliment usually makes you mad. That's what you're tempted to tell him when he compliments you. To tell him that, to get him angry at you, to really get him angry, to fire you, because it's really hard for you to be told that he likes you. If you criticized him after he complimented you, you would get it over with. Like you even have sometimes. Then you'd get fired because you really expect to get fired anyway as soon as they catch up to you. And as these thoughts run through your mind, you find yourself thinking about them, but still completely relaxed. Still completely relaxed, knowing now that it's hard for you to take being liked because there was always a string attached to it when you were young. Whenever they complimented you, they wanted something else from you. Or the compliment was just the beginnings of a real chewing out to make it easier to take, buttering you up. You're thinking back how you've heard so much from way back. So much how you were lazy, how you were no good. You'd never amount to anything, or you'd never do any good work. Any compliments you get now, any compliments the boss gives you, makes it seem like they're telling you a lie. You remember when you were young and they told you, go cut the lawn. You did, you worked all day. And what did they say? They didn't tell you it was a good job. They said, here's a spot you missed. Does that lawnmower have a hole in the front? No matter how hard you worked, there was always something wrong with it. And so even now, you never expect any praise. In fact, you don't even trust people who praise you. You've never had it much. Just a lot of criticism. But now, it makes you uncomfortable to be praised. It means they might be pulling something on you. They might want even more from you. They want to wring every last ounce out of you. You can't take it sometimes that they're pleased with your job. You think they'll just want me to break my neck even more. These thoughts are bothering you a little bit now, but you've had them before, and often they bothered you more then because you weren't relaxed as you are now. Now you're letting yourself drift even deeper into a state of relaxation. Deeper and deeper. Glad that you've been able to go through these thoughts without your usual reaction to them. The thoughts continue. If they are praising you, anybody that tells you you're okay or good, instead of telling you that you're really lousy, they must be leading you on. You can't believe them. Maybe they're even making a fool of you. You're still completely relaxed, no matter what happens. Deeper and deeper into relaxation. Now, you're doing the scene over again. The boss, you're at work, the boss is walking up, tells you again, because of the way you've worked here, we're way ahead of schedule on this job. We're real pleased. We're real glad to have you on our team. This time, nothing else happens. You don't get all the confusion, the anger. Nothing happens. You don't start thinking. All those thoughts. Instead, this time, you just feel good. Really good. You wondered how you were doing on this job, and now you're happy. It pleases you to know that somebody's appreciating your work, and you're starting to feel might even work harder because of his compliment.
We're coming to the end of session 15. Relax. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your eyes open. Still relaxed.